Theoretically, an emperor could have as many concubines as he wanted. There's no limit, okay? But the actual numbers of the concubines that each different emperor actually had could be very different. Some could have many concubines, but some had only one or two. This first depends on this emperor's interest in women. It also depends on the situation of the national treasury. You need money to feed these women, right? They have a lot of servants, they get paid, and their family get paid. So if the country's economy is good, and then they have a lot of money, they can keep a lot of concubines in the Forbidden City. Otherwise, if there's natural disasters or if the country is at war, then the government has to spend a lot of money on some other things. Then they don't have much money to keep these concubines.
On this concubine was selected, it is a volunteer.
How were these concubines selected, right? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
This concubine selection is a big project. It's a nationwide project. The procedure of a concubine selection could be different at different dynasties, but they were basically the same. So let's take, for example, the Qing dynasty. Since Qing dynasty was the last dynasty in Chinese history, and it is very close to us. So there are a lot of historical record from which we could know what this concubine selection was like. Right? So first, the Qing dynasty emperors, they were all Manchurians. So in order to keep their Manchurian blood pure, all the concubines in the Qing dynasty should be selected from the Manchurian family. And the Qing government, they would have a nationwide population census every 3 years. So every family should be registered. Then the government would know exactly how many people each family had and which family had young girls. Usually, these concubines, their ages are from 13 to 16 years old. It is made by law that these young girls, they could not marry anybody before they attended this concubine selection. And only after they attended this concubine selection, and if they were not selected, then they could marry other people. So your question, if this is volunteer, no, this is not voluntary, this is mandatory. And this first selection is a mass selection. If you were selected in this mass selection, you're not a concubine yet. You're only the candidate of a concubine. And all these candidates of a concubine will be sent into the Forbidden City. Very few of them could finally become the real concubine. This was, for most of the cases, decided by the emperor himself, but for some of the cases, it was decided by the emperor's mother, if the emperor was too young, right? So it didn't mean that if you become a concubine, then you'll be really liked by the emperor. Emperor's mother had a very different standard of choosing the concubine, right? So it happens that the many concubines would be neglected by the emperor because the emperor had too many of them. These concubines, they are ranked. They have different rank, and they get paid according to their rank. The ranking of them depends on how many children you can give birth to the emperor. And of course, boy is preferred to girls. So in order to give birth to a son to the emperor, so you have to sleep with him at the first place, right? So there is a very tough competition between these concubines. That's why in a lot of Chinese TV shows and movies based on the stories of this Ming and Qing dynasty's concubines fighting for a chance to sleep with the emperor. Not physically fighting, I mean the competition in other ways. Most of these stories are fictional, but it has made a very good promotion for the Forbidden City. That's why you can see there are a lot of young ladies that dress like like this. They dress like a Qing dynasty empress or princess. They want their picture taken here like in a TV show. The emperor would decide which concubine to sleep with tonight before having dinner. The eunuch would present the emperor a plate where there are many tablets. On each tablet, there is a name of the concubine. And the emperor will pick up a tablet and turn it upside down. That means he's going to sleep with this concubine tonight. And then the eunuch will go to tell this concubine. And this concubine should get herself naked. And then the eunuch will use a big quilt to wrap this concubine like a dumpling and carry her to the emperor's bedroom and put her in the bed. In a Qing dynasty, because all the emperors in the Qing dynasty, they were very hardworking. They were supposed to attend a court meeting in the early morning, so they could not sleep with the concubine for the whole night. So after having sex with them, this concubine had to go back to their own place. This is the tradition in the Qing dynasty. But for those concubines, even if you're not liked by the emperor, you should stay here for the rest of your whole life. There's no chance for them to meet their parents either here or at home. So for these concubines, this place, Forbidden City, is like a prison for them.